Hello to all our viewers and welcome to the news here on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital Abuja. I'm Uyi Agmofregbe, reminding all of our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times channel 276. Former Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, has arrived at the Federal High Court in Kaduna for his alleged money laundering trial. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, had earlier announced that the former governor will be arraigned at the Federal High Court in the state. The charges filed include counts ranging from conversion of and possession of public property to money laundering. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has issued a nationwide alert to healthcare professionals and the public following the confirmation of counterfeit batches of Magbera 500 milligrams and 500 millimeters in circulation. Mabthera, known genetically as rituximab, is a critical antibody injection used in the treatment of serious conditions, including blood cancers such as non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and chronic lymphocytic leukemia, as well as autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, pemphigus vulgaris, and vasculitis. The agency further noted that the drug works by targeting and destroying harmful B cells in the body. A mini Durbar has been organized by the Kagara Emirate Council in Rafi local government area of Niger State to mark the successful end of this year's Ramadan fast as part of Eid celebration. Our correspondent, Sadia Yakubu, tells us more.
The Emir of Kagara, Ahmad Garba Aguna Atahiru II, and his traditional title holders mounted their horses to lead a colorful procession on the major road of the town. Governor Muhammad Umar Rago, who was thrilled by the show of love and admiration by the massive turnout of residents during the procession. Various cultural displays also added color to the brief event, which has been suspended for a long period of time due to heightened activities of terrorists in the Emirates. The 2026 Mini Durbar in Kagara Emirates, which showcased horsemanship, speaks volumes of the relative peace that has been achieved in the Emirates. Some residents of Kagara expressed their joy and appreciation to the governor for his tireless efforts aimed at protecting lives and property, and prayed for sustained peace in not only the Emirates, but also the state and the country as a whole. Sadia Yakubu for Global Television News.
Thank you so very much, Sadia. The Labour Party has officially zoned its 2027 presidential ticket to the southern region of the country. The party's acting national chairperson, Nenadi Usman, confirmed the decision during an interview with journalists in Abuja. In another development, stakeholders and the five-state chairmen of the Labour Party in the Southeast Zone have paid a courtesy visit to the Deputy Governor of Abia State, Engineer Ikechukwu Emeju, ahead of the upcoming Labour Party congresses and national convention. Leaders of the party in the Southeast are poised to rebuild the Labour Party in the zone and make sure that the party takes over Southeast come 2027. Ahead of the screening of aspirants vying for national offices of the All Progressives Congress APC for its March 27th to 20th national convention, the party's aspirant screening committee has pledged to conduct their exercise in line with equity and the rule of law. Our political correspondent, Ubong Usoro, reports.
Chairman of the committee and Governor of Ekiti State, Biodun Ayebanji, said the screening so far has been without any hitch, adding that the process is guided strictly by established procedures and rule of law.
It went very well, very successful, and it's still ongoing. One of the committee is still they're still working, but two have concluded, and we're just taking a break. But the most important thing is that we had everybody coming for screening.
Among those screened is Barrister Murtala Kankia, the APC National Legal Advisor, Bashi Gumel, the Financial Secretary of the APC. They both expressed confidence in the credibility of the exercise.
The screening is good because it's good for them to get to know people. It's something which is in accordance with the law.
My expectations are really very high, but the most important is repositioning the party and getting it set, for the 2027 elections.
Maikafi Abubakar, the national auditor of the party, and the national women leader, Mary Aidele, says the process reflects internal democracy and is well organized. They therefore commended the committee for a smooth and transparent exercise.
The screening went on well. The panel, the subcommittee panel introduced themselves through the chairman, Senator Oji Kalu, and then later they said I should brief them on my CV.
And I've just completed my screening.
Incoming.
And like you just said, it was like the speed of light.
Yes.
I came in and they all introduced themselves. I introduced myself, and it was everybody just agreed that there's no need, just take a bow.
The screening exercise continues as the party prepares for its national convention. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
As preparations intensify for the 2027 general election, political parties are pushing for stricter penalties against electoral malpractice as the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) reassures stakeholders of a transparent and credible process. Aniete Patrick reports.
Chairman, Inter-Party Advisory Council Dr. Yusuf Dantele has called for sweeping reforms to Nigeria's electoral framework, warning that gaps in the Electoral Act 2026 could undermine inclusiveness and credibility. Speaking at INEC's consultative meeting with political party leaders, Dantele demanded urgent review of provisions guiding candidate primaries, party membership registration, and result transmission, stressing that failure to act could restrict participation and disenfranchise voters. He further pushed for stringent penalties against vote buying and establishment of an independent electoral offences commission, insisting that only firm sanctions can deter electoral corruption and restore public confidence.
It is particularly concerning that the Contentious Electoral Act formed the basis upon which INEC released the timetable and schedules for the 2027 general elections. This had inadvertently placed immense pressure on political parties, especially those outside government, thereby constraining their ability to effectively prepare and contribute to building a strong, inclusive, and stable democratic nation.
Responding, Chairman of INEC, Professor Josh Amopiton, assured stakeholders that the revised regulations are fully aligned with the Electoral Act 2026 and designed to guarantee transparency, fairness, and accountability across the electoral process. He noted that the tight electoral timetable demands what he described as surgical precision, emphasizing that credible elections are built on meticulous planning well ahead of polling day.
Credible elections begin long before polling day. They begin in the transparency of the process that produces the candidates. As you are all aware, these regulations have been formulated under the powers granted to INEC by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, as well as under the Electoral Act 2026.
With months to the polls, both INEC and political parties are intensifying consultations to resolve grey areas in a bid to deliver a credible, inclusive, and widely acceptable electoral process. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Many thanks to you, Aniete. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says it has received 708 stranded Nigerians from Niamey the Niger Republic. The agency's head of operations in its Kano office, Noura Abdullahi, made this known while briefing newsmen shortly after receiving their returnees at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano for profiling. The returnees comprise 292 male adults and children, 416 female adults and children from different parts of the country, particularly Katsina, Kano, Jigawa, Benue, Borno, Yobe, Zamfara, Kaduna, Kogi, and Niger states. Let's turn to other stories for you now. The former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, has expressed concern over what he called politically motivated actions after his properties were raided by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The Commission's operatives marked an Abuja property linked to the former minister following an interim forfeiture order granted by a court. Reacting to the development, Malami described the EFCC's raid as intimidating and unnecessary, expressing surprise at the manner in which the court's previous order had been executed. This is Global Television, and you're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. The rest of the news continues after these weather forecasts, plus business, foreign, and sports stories for you on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us.
Hello, I'm Theodore Aiton, bringing you the weather forecast for Tuesday. We kickstart the day with morning thunderstorms affecting the coastal cities of Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, and Bayelsa states. Progressing into the afternoon and evening hours of Tuesday, the storms are likely to expand to affect parts of Imo, Abia, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom states. Other parts of the south and north central will see partly cloudy skies throughout the day, while further north, lots of sunshine is expected. That's the forecast. I am Theodore Aiton. Thank you for watching.
Well, thank you so very much for staying with us. You're watching News Cycle here on Global Television. The second part of this broadcast now returns with business, where the federal government says it is seeking stronger partnerships with investors and development partners to unlock Nigeria's vast agricultural potential and build a climate-resilient food system. Speaking at the Nigeria United Kingdom Investment Forum in London, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, highlighted the sector's critical role, noting that agriculture employs nearly 70% of Nigeria's workforce and contributes over 24% to the nation's GDP. The minister further outlined the ongoing government interventions, including irrigation support, improved seed systems, mechanization, and agro-processing initiatives, all, he says, aimed at boosting productivity and sustainability. The organized private sector and the Nigeria Labour Congress have called for urgent government intervention as petrol prices surged towards 1,400 naira per litre across parts of the country, raising fears of worsening inflation, job losses, and business closures. The development follows successive price increases by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, which recently raised its ex-depot price to about 1,275 naira per litre, marking its fifth hike in March. The price hikes have intensified concerns over pricing dynamics in Nigeria's deregulated downstream petroleum sector. In the meantime, the federal government, through the Nigeria Nuclear Regulatory Authority, has announced its readiness to collaborate with the Cross River State government to standardize and sanitize mining activities across communities in the state. The operational head of the agency, Ememobong Essien, disclosed the agency's position during a courtesy visit to the Commissioner for Mineral Resources, Ntufam Effium Ekaha Otu, noting that the move is aimed at enhancing safety and oversight in the extractive industry. Essien emphasized that the visit was primarily centered on the need for synergy in monitoring mining operations, particularly regarding naturally occurring radioactive materials, noting that these materials are often unearthed during mineral exploration and require specialized handling to prevent health risks. Let's jump to the foreign scene now, where a Colombian Air Force plane has crashed shortly after takeoff in the south of the country, leaving at least 66 people dead and dozens injured. Air Force Commander Carlos Fernando Silva said 114 Army personnel were on board, as well as 11 crew. The plane, a United States-made C-130 Hercules used for transporting troops, came down near the town of Puerto Zamo in Putumayo province. Quite a sad incident there. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will meet G7 counterparts in France on Friday on the war in Iran, that's according to State Department. The trip comes after President Donald Trump announced that the United States has been talking with Iran, a claim denied by Tehran, as he put pause on his threat to destroy the country's electricity production. Rubio, in his first foreign trip since the United States and Israel attacked Iran on February 28, will join the G7 foreign ministers in Carnot-la-Ville near Versailles on the outskirts of Paris. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has lost a key referendum on a constitutional reform which had turned to votes on her government. The result gives around 54% to the no campaign and 46% to the yes votes, which Meloni had backed. It is the first significant defeat for Meloni and her right-wing coalition, which has overseen a rare period of political stability for the country. Let's go bring you some excitement now from the world of sports. The Congress of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, has approved amendments to the Federation's statutes, electoral codes, and standing orders of the General Assembly ahead of their elective Congress scheduled for September 26 in Lafia, Nasarawa State capital. This was contained in a communique at the end of the Federation's Extraordinary General Assembly held in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. Chairman of the National Sports Commission and former NFF Vice President Shehu Diko, who attended the Extraordinary General Assembly, described the amendments as long overdue. Nigeria will make a final push to secure qualification for the 2026 World Athletics Relays when a group of its athletes will compete in the United States as the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, intensifies efforts to ensure representation across multiple relay events. The Federation has shifted its immediate focus away from recent disappointments at World Indoor Championships, where Nigeria had minimal participation. It says it is now concentrating on securing relay qualification places and preparing ahead of the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Manchester United legend Rio Ferdinand has named Arsenal's David Raya as the current best goalkeeper in the world. Ferdinand stated this while speaking about Raya's absence from Arsenal's starting against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup final. Raya was benched by Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta as Kepa Arrizabalaga started the Carabao Cup final ahead of his fellow countryman. And that's a full cycle on the news here. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and on Star Times, channel 276. As always, we encourage you to interact and subscribe across all of our social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG, as well as other handles as you now see on your screen. I'm Uyi Agumofwegwe, thanking you for watching, and I'll see you on News Prime.